Hey guys, well, I'm so excited because we are to our true human self in the four selves. And I brought my guitar because I'm going to show you a very human experience. And this is going to be an awesome lesson. We made it through the two false selves, which is so hard. And now we get to move towards joy and truth. And just stay tuned. I can't wait to tell you what I'm going to tell you about our true human selves and all the awesomeness that goes along with being that and focusing on that. Okay, let's get started. So glad you're here. Okay, hi guys, hi. I am so overjoyed about this day, about being to this lesson on this day. I was working on my calendar this morning. See, that's even weird, me saying I was working on my calendar. Just making some goals and some plans, some daily things. I'm doing a program called Couched 5K, and I'm doing just some other body things, you know. I'm still continuing to climb mountains. I'm trying to get up to a pretty high goal by my 50th birthday, which is in a few months. Anyway, I was calendaring this morning, and I saw that today is April 30th, 2021. And so tomorrow is May 1st, 2021. And it's such a conglomeration of amazing synchronicities, I guess. If we notice, there's synchronicities, beautiful synchronicities all the time for us. But the one that I want to talk about is it's been 1 year tomorrow since my company closed, my big company that really was so much a part of my identity, and so much of what the two false selves are made of as well, and the two real selves. Just the Brave Girls Club, and then it went to melodyross.com, and some of you have been involved in that since the very beginning, since 2009, so 12 years. And some of you don't even know what that is, but anyway, doesn't really matter. But what matters is tomorrow is the anniversary of when my company got closed. And that was such a death, and for all of us. I can't even start to express what the path of grief and maybe deconstruction, disintegration, just unraveling that happened in me as a result of all of that, in really hard ways, but ultimately in really good ways. Okay, so I'm actually calling, tomorrow is May 1st, and I'm calling it my freedom anniversary. And the thing that I want you to know about that is, when you say freedom, that implies that something is keeping you caged or trapped or whatever. And it definitely wasn't the beautiful creations and the community and everything like that. It was my own perception of who I am and who I'm supposed to be, and what I'm responsible for and who I'm responsible for, and how I'm supposed to show up, and just so many things that led to freedom. First, okay, so the thing that I had to get free from was myself, my own cage. No matter what I did, like I tried so many things to feel free, and I'm going to tell you in a minute what the cage actually is, what the lack of freedom, the trapped feeling, the not really being alive, what that actually was. I kept running from it, thinking it was this or this or this, and it kept coming with me, kept going with me. And so in the end, you know, what I'm realizing and what I have been working so hard on the last year, to the point of just about not surviving it, is dropping these two false selves. And it's really, really, really important to me now to get a long ways on this process. I think it's a lifelong process, because it's just like every other bad habit or weird belief, you know, it'll circle back and try to ingrain itself again. And I know that it's like an addiction, really. And that's really how it felt, man, especially the last month, when I decided, like, I'm going to do this 4 selves lesson and I'm going to put myself through it. And I'm really going to confront these false selves. And what I realized when I would wake up in the morning and make that my intention was that, that it's been like being in withdrawal, like going off of a drug, like an addiction. And I had to confront that I was the one who was responsible for the addiction, and responsible for taking the steps every day to not partake of those substances. Or, you know, beliefs can have the same effect on us as substances. Thoughts, they can create chemical changes in our bodies and make us into somebody. You know, like our thoughts can actually make our personality. And one of the things that they're discovering in neuroscience, and, you know, I'm a super neuroscience, quantum physics junkie, is that our personalities are not fixed. Our brains are not fixed. And by fixed, I mean that, you know, whatever personality we're born with or whatever, that can all be improved on and changed, and even parts of it abandoned. And same with our brain. Our brains are plastic until we die. You know, we used to think that, you know, if something happened to a brain, and there are some things of brain damage that are at least up until now, what we know so far, are difficult or impossible to repair. But as far as beliefs go, our brains are a lot more plastic. They're a lot more changeable and moldable than we've been led to believe in the past. And so I've really been intensely diving into the studies of Dr. Carolyn Leaf and Dr. Joe Dispenza and some other neuroscience here and there. Those are the two that I study the most. It's really so much about figuring out how your thoughts affect your behaviors, and then affect your whole life, and what you think is possible for you. So, all in all, what I'm saying is that tomorrow is my freedom anniversary, because losing what I thought was my identity, and what I thought was my value, and what I thought was my safety, and what I thought was my, all those things, okay? Everything wrapped up into that. Losing what I thought was my community, here, let me say it this way. Thinking that I lost my community, it broke me so hardcore, you know, and then losing my home, and, you know, there was such a ginormous conglomeration, just this huge combination of things that happened in about a 2-year span that were so ridiculous, like unbelievable. Like, if I told you all the things that happened, I don't even think you would believe me. I can hardly believe it. I can't even stand to list all of it out. But one thing after another stripped away everything that I thought was me. And what it actually did is it stripped away everything that was keeping me from me. And it definitely wasn't my community, and I want you to know that. And it wasn't any people. It was my own beliefs, you know. And some of those beliefs, you know, came from childhood trauma and things like that. But I'm almost 50, and at some point, I know, for me anyway, I have done so much work to overcome that, and I don't want any of that to be my identity anymore. I just want to be the two true selves, the human self and the my soul self. And that's what has happened, is when all of that, and I swear, I think when we want something really, really bad, and we think there is a way to get it, like for me, I have a truth teller. I'm very, and if you don't know what truth teller is, that's my name for whatever your source of higher power is, whether that's God or the universe or whatever. We just call it truth teller in my work, so that none of us can be like, oh, that person's a whatever, that person's a whatever. We're all just souls, and we all are picking a truth teller, and that's just how we do it around here. But I have a truth teller, and I'm constantly in prayer, and especially over the last year, just like, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. And sometimes we think the help is just going to come in this really gentle, easy way. I mean, that's what we hope. But I really got what I wished for, what I've wished for most of my life. And that's just freedom and I didn't know what the freedom was. I didn't know what the trap was. I didn't know what made me feel like I didn't have freedom. And it was my own thoughts and my own beliefs. And what we're learning in neuroscience is that the more you think those thoughts, really all that a belief is a thought that you think over and over and over again until it's true for you. And so we can have beliefs in things that aren't true and aren't right. And I did, and mostly concerning myself. And I'm still working on it, you know. And it doesn't really matter where I got those beliefs from. That's something I'm just dropping completely. I don't need to go back and hash and shame and blame myself or anybody else, you know, that might have played a role in all of that, because I'm moving forward now. And, but to go and find out what the cage is, what the trap is, you know, sometimes you have to look at it and go, oh, that's why I believed that. And then you at least know, you know, but not to go and make that another cause, another identity to you know, just dig in and circle the drain, you know, forever, for the rest of your life, just going, because, you know, dude, life is hard, and things have happened that have just broken my heart, you know, but that happens to all of us. But I also have to be fair and look at the flip side of having my heart broken. It broke. Something had to break. Something had to give. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that old phrase, something's got to give. And that's a true thing. And it's a true thing in our culture right now, too. Just in our human family. Like, something's got to give. And a lot of things are giving. I feel like what's happened in my life has just been... Hi, Wes Taylor. I'm at the beautiful Wild West Mustang Ranch because I'm Wes Taylor's biggest fan. Anyway, I can't wait to tell you guys more about that. My husband has become an incredible wild Mustang trainer with Wes Taylor, and so this is where we live now. And in fact, just part of my freedom anniversary is that we are renovating the top of the barn into a space for me to be creative, and the top of the barn at the Wild West Mustang Ranch, which there's nowhere in the world I'd rather be. So a lot of incredible things happened this week. Anyway, so as we were living with, you know, two of our best friends, West and Cammie Taylor, on their ranch now. And so part of all of us working together is that we're going to see a lot of each other on the videos and everything else. West also makes videos. It's funny because West and I are a lot alike, and Mark and Cammie are a lot alike. West and I are crazy creatives, and we both need someone in our life who keeps time straight and keeps schedules straight and keeps stuff straight, and that's who both of our spouses are. And anyway, I can't wait to introduce you to these people. We've been actually with them for since we left our ranch a year and a half ago, and I haven't talked about it a lot because it's another part of this lesson. I don't want it to be involved in any way with my cardboard cutout or my broken self, and sometimes you just want to keep things sacred. And you know, a lot of people haven't known where we've been, and we've mostly been these guys have a place in St. George, Utah, and we were with them there. We were renting part of the house there, and now we're here at the ranch, and we're all just making plans. And it's kind of an unorthodox way to live, you know, with your friends and stuff, but we've been trying it out for almost 2 years, like I said, and it's been life-saving and joyful and wonderful. Cammie's an artist and a shaman and a drum maker and incredible woman. Just the greatest person that I could ever want to be around. And same with West, and you know, the friendship between Mark and West. West has really saved Mark's life through, it started out as horse therapy, and it's turned into just this brotherhood, and now he's teaching Mark all of his ways of beautiful science-based horsemanship, which is this beautiful it's kind of like trauma healing for horses and teaching them what they're capable of. And it's not about breaking horses, it's about building horses, and it's mostly about building owners. But anyway, that's a tangent. I decided in this video I'm just going to start telling you guys what's actually going on in our life. I haven't, because it's been so wobbly, you know. I haven't known where we're going to be. I still don't. I mean, we're going to settle in and make a place in the barn. I'm going to put some video in here of me sweeping it. Like, we're starting from bare studs. This is his granddad's old barn, and we're going to turn it into a beautiful space. But there's just people that I want to introduce you to and tell you what we've actually been doing. I mean, I've climbed almost 100 mountains in the last year, and I have pictures of all of that, and I have it all documented. And I wanted to really do an experiment where I was living from my human self and my soul self, and not from my cardboard cutout self or my wounded self, and do things. I've done a lot of things in the last 2 years that I haven't told anybody about, because I wanted to see, you know, being in the limelight since I was 25. I was 25 when I started my first business, and I started blogging our whole life, and then Facebook came, and then, you know, like you get into this habit of going, okay, so what can I show people that will be interesting? And then it turns into, what can I show people that will be impressive? And then it comes to, like, what can I show people that will be like what everybody else is doing? And it just turns into this, instead of living your life intuitively and from joy, you're kind of going, what would get us the most likes or whatever. And it's just, that's one of the things that turned into a cage that went, no matter where I went, it went with me. That I had to be this person that, because I hate disappointing people. I hate letting people down. I hate, and that's all rooted in, I hate being, rejected and abandoned. And it's all these, you know, deep wounds that go, and then that turns into your false broken self. And then you got to make a cardboard cutout to protect that and cover that up. And it's dumb, you guys. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? There's so much more joy to be had. So anyway, some of the things I've been doing, a lot. I'm not even going to list all of them, but I've been practicing guitar, and I've been writing songs, and I've been hiking, which is something I thought that I would never do. Sleeping outdoors, peeing outdoors, just in the woods, all sorts of things, but not talking about it to anybody, just doing it for myself, for my own human experience. And I think that's been a really good exercise to get me off of my addiction to whatever, I don't even know how to define it, my addiction to my false selves. To spend a couple years doing things just for me and not telling anybody. You know, I know, like, you know, my husband knows things that I do because I do them with him, but I don't tell him everything I'm doing. I just decided, like, I'm just going to do a bunch of stuff and figure out what I like without opinions or thinking through, I wonder if people would like to see a picture of this on social media, you know? And then a year ago, something that I didn't know was going to happen is when my company got closed, they deleted everything off the internet. Pretty much everything that was me. You used to be able to go Google me, and there would be, you know, pages, like hundreds maybe of pages of my accomplishments and the things that I've done, and just me. And that felt like security. That felt like, okay, I'm going to be okay because I have this presence online, and I have this big, safe, and most of it was totally real. So I don't even know if it was a cardboard cutout, except that I made it part of my identity. And I think anything that we make into our identity can become a cage and a trap and a cardboard cutout. And I think my cardboard cutouts, my false selves, were my cages. They were just big old gilded cages that I took with me everywhere I went, and then cried about not feeling free. I'm the one taking around these big golden cages everywhere, and then I'm sad and complaining because I'm not free. And so that's what I've been doing the last, I wish you guys could see what I see right now. These horses are so beautiful. I'll show them to you sometime. So the last couple of weeks, I have been putting like most of my day and night into this work, with the false selves. And I feel like I just really made some huge breakthroughs. And again, it's funny that it's happening on my freedom anniversary, freedom from myself anniversary. I feel super good about that and super happy about that. And so, as I know, my last video when I was talking about the false broken self, that was a super vulnerable video, because I truly was right in the middle of that work. And I had such an enormous vulnerability hangover about that. It's like somebody coming to your therapy session and listening to all your innermost thoughts. And that was a tough video to make, but it was really tough to publish, to put out there. But also, how dumb that I would not show you that when I'm asking you to shed those false selves. And here's the thing about all of that. And there's a part of me that was sad that we had to wait a whole week to get to this lesson, because, as you're watching that video, I don't want you to think that that's how I am all the time, that I'm, even if I was, that's how I am. But I, on the way to finding freedom and finding joy and finding yourself and living as your human self and your soul self, there's just these really rough patches, there's these dips, there's these canyons and pits, and I had to go in there. I had to go into that pit and look at what that false broken self was and is still. Obviously it's not gone. I'm aware of it. Okay. And I'm choosing not to choose it as my advisor. I'm choosing not to choose it. I started working through art journaling for this, but I'm not going to show you those projects until we're done with these 4 videos. This is the 3rd. And next week will be our soul self. And then I'm going to show you the projects to go through. And in fact, it's become a daily practice for me to go through these 4 selves exercises and art journal it out. And so we'll be doing that. But I want you first to learn what these 4 selves are and what this process is. And I feel like my soul self and my truth teller and everybody has helped facilitate taking me on a journey through these 4 selves that's so real and so intense and so effective. And then I'm letting you guys watch. And so it's hard. It's vulnerable. It's really, really vulnerable. But I don't know a more effective way. Now, here's why I know this is working. There's just a lightness to me now that I have experienced before, but it's a childlike feeling. And so as I've really been studying what your true human self is, this 3rd self, it's childlike. And so that's what I want you to think of. And by childlike, I mean curious. I don't want to say naive. It'd be really great if we could live with the curiosity and courage of a child, but with the wisdom of our age. And that's what we get now. Like, that is so awesome. We get to know that we have wisdom, and that's actually our soul self. We'll talk about that next week, is the wisdom of our soul self mixed with the childlike wonder and curiosity and forgiveness and love and passion and lack of care for who's watching. I have 5 grandchildren now, and I had 5 children, and I love being around children and animals. If you just watch children, younger children who haven't been jaded by whatever jades us, they just do whatever they feel like, and they're so joyful, except when they're not. And then when they're not, they let themselves cry, and then they get over it, and then they move on, and they're not all like in their head about stuff, for the most part. So when we're thinking of our human self, that's how I want you to think about it. I want you to think of an untraumatized child. Okay, so obviously children that go through child trauma grow up way too fast, and they don't have the trust in life that children should have, that it's really their birthright to have, and I hate that they don't. But that's what I want you to think of when we're thinking of our human self. That's our child self, the best part of being a child self, the wise child self, and then our soul self is going to be our wise higher self, our wise self, our all-knowing self, that our whole self. But this week we're talking about our human self. So I have this janky little tripod, and we're in our RV right at this moment. And so I have my printer in there, and right now it's not using its red ink for some reason. Last week it wasn't using its blue, but I'm just going to keep going anyway. Okay, so here is what is in the worksheet for my true human self. Ways I bring the human self into my life. And so you guys, your human self is about joy. It's about learning, growing, becoming, experiencing, and joy and awe, which is what comes from truly experiencing something, comprehending something. There's a word, comprehending, and I looked up the root of it, the ancient Hebrew and Greek roots of it, and it actually means to become one with or to understand something. And so your child self your human self your wise child self is so much about allowing yourself to experience everything without judgment. And so that means like just watch a kid, when the first time they go outside, like what they think of grass and what they think of stuff flying through the sky, and they're just in awe. And I don't know why we lose that, but that's like the highest energetic state, the most healing, high vibration state we can get into is a state of awe. And that's what children are all the time. They're just always like, oh my gosh, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this. And so that's my new goal, is just, I've decided I started this already a couple days ago. I'm going to live as the luckiest girl in the world. And every day I'm going to go prove to myself why I'm the luckiest girl in the world. Even though I live in an RV and we've pretty much lost every material thing that we've worked for 30 years. I have worked my butt off. I'm one of the hardest workers I know. I'm incredibly prolific. I've created enough art and curriculum to last lifetimes. And it was all because I had a gun to my head that I put to my head saying, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, and now you have to do this, and now you have to do this. And so that's not, you could look and say, that's so impressive, all the stuff that you've been able to do, but it's just part of my addiction. And so I'm dedicated to just staying in a state of awe and curiosity and forgiveness and non-attachment and in the terrible, awful, painful, nearly death-causing things that have happened in my life over the last couple of years are what led to me being here. See, isn't that amazing? Man, I don't know why it took that much for me to get it. I'm stubborn and I keep going and going and going. It's I'm a weeble, they wobble, but they don't fall down. I fall down, but then I pop right back up. It makes me mad sometimes how resilient I am. But, and people, they admire that. They say that to me all the time. You're the most resilient person I know. And there's a part of me that's just like to a fault, it's not balanced. Like I just keep getting back up and taking it and getting back up and taking it. And so I've said this to you guys before, and I'm going to say it a bunch of times more. When you're running and running and running and running away from something and running towards something look exactly the same. Okay. But they create completely different chemicals in your body. When you're running away from something, you're in a place of fear. And so your body's filled with cortisol and adrenaline and all of these things that break your body down and age you and make you tired and make you, they wear you out. I mean, we're not supposed to live in a state of cortisol and adrenaline. The whole situation of the world has put us all in. We have cortisol and adrenaline to help us run from tigers and things that actually are huge threats. Occasionally, not every minute of every day. And that's really what I've been running on, is cortisol and adrenaline. When I started watching these guys train the horses, it's a science-based horsemanship. So they have measured with neuroscientists, like what chemicals the horse's brain is making at different times. And the way that they're training is to create situations and opportunities for the horses to create dopamine from their own accomplishments and from making choices that feel good to them, and then making that choice again, and then getting them addicted to their own good choices instead of addicted to surviving by filling your body with adrenaline and cortisol. It's the most beautiful thing. It makes me cry every time I watch it. It requires so much love and patience, and knowing that the horse is the one that gets to make the choices. And when you show the horse, if you make this choice, then your body's going to fill with this, and you'll see what you're capable of. And then this partnership. I watched that and I was like, I am like a traumatized Mustang, and traumatized Mustangs think everything's going to kill them. Everything is a threat. And when we think everything is a threat, where am I at? 30 minutes? These videos keep getting longer and longer. When we think everything's a threat, we do all sorts of stuff to survive, right? And not only that, but internally we fill with all these chemicals. And so my true human self, and this is what I want for you guys more than anything, is a self that is motivated by, that is fueled by good chemicals, dopamine and serotonin, and all the good ones. And those come from making good choices. Now, we can get dopamine and serotonin, things like that, from drugs and things like that. I'm talking about the way that we're naturally supposed to get those things, from learning, from discovering, from noticing, from appreciating, from connecting. Now, I brought my guitar out here because I've been, like I told you, I've been working on dropping these cardboard cutout, these false selves. And one of the ways I've been doing that is doing things by myself, to show me that I don't need to show the world and get validation from the world to get enjoyment. Like, I'm just going to do the things that I want to do. But then I've learned that lesson now, and now I've realized, like, we can't do things without connecting. Connecting is part of this experience. And one of the reasons you drop your cardboard cutouts is so you can actually connect. Human to human, soul to soul, without a bunch of cardboard in between you, can actually connect. And so now that I'm here, I've been so excited to get through these false self lessons with myself and with you guys, so that I can get to here. Now that I don't have those, or I'm choosing to not put those on every morning, and I'm choosing to drop them when I habitually go try to put them back on, now I'm ready to connect in a safe way, in the right way. And the way I'm going to connect is just by saying, here I am. I don't have anything covering me up. Take it or leave it. Would you like to connect with me? And I'm just going to start being who I am, and not feel so unsafe doing that, because the safety has to be in here. I can keep myself safe. I can keep myself safe by knowing that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and it's okay if some people don't choose me. It's okay if hardly anybody chooses me. I choose me. I keep myself safe by not projecting my needs onto other people and feeling wounded and hurt when they don't do the things that I was hoping that they would do. I'm almost 50, like I said. Like, this is my responsibility. By forgiving myself and others, by deciding every morning that I'm the luckiest girl in the world, because let me tell you all the reasons today why I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I woke up this morning, it was cold. I clicked the little button on the heater in our RV, and all of a sudden I was warm. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. The sky is blue. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I have this puffy jacket to wear with short sleeves because it's a little bit chilly and it's a little bit warm. I got this at a thrift store. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. Okay? That's what I mean by deciding every day I'm going to be the luckiest girl in the world. It makes it really, really easy to not put your false selves on when you decide every day that you're the luckiest girl in the world, or the wealthiest girl in the world, or the smartest girl in the world. And then you go find evidence that's real evidence of that. Like, I'm the smartest girl in the world because I'm not putting my cardboard cutouts on, okay? I'm the wealthiest girl in the world because I have enough to eat. Like, just change your perspective and stop, please. I'm going to stop. I hope that you will stop too. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else's cardboard cutouts and even everybody else's wounded. Stop comparing your true self to everybody else's false selves. That's what we have to do. We have to stop comparing our true human selves to our own cardboard false selves, okay? If you want to. I highly recommend it, though. It's pretty devastating and humbling when you realize that you're the one that carries the cage around with you everywhere. been looking everywhere for freedom and you're the one that was keeping it from yourself. That's a humbling thing you have to forgive yourself for. Okay, I get to keep learning and growing in the area of everything, all of this. I get to pick whatever I want. So do you. I get to keep trying new things so that I can experience more, be more like a child, experience this beautiful life. And that's what I'm all about. It's about experiencing, learning, growing, becoming, and connecting. Now I'm adding connecting in there. I've been a hermit, staying the heck away from people the last 2 or 3 years because I've been scared of getting hurt. And again, it was just like, I'm the one that's putting all my biggest wounds out there to people that like to wound. And I did this. So I get to become more of who I am now by experimenting, like just going out and being like, what can I learn today? What can I see today that I've never seen before? What can I notice today that I've never noticed before? When I don't forgive my mistakes, I'm telling myself that, okay, when you don't forgive your mistakes, like for me, when I don't forgive my mistakes, I'm telling myself that I probably shouldn't try anything ever again because I always make mistakes. So here's what I always tell my kids, and I don't know why I don't tell myself this, is that you have to be willing to suck at stuff for as long as it takes to get good at it. But you're always going to suck at stuff at the beginning. Almost everybody. Some people are geniuses at stuff at the beginning, but I'm not one of those people. So when I don't forgive myself for my mistakes, I'm telling myself that I shouldn't try anything. And so I know I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm just going to keep making more mistakes, and just to learn and grow and become and experience and connect. Okay, I continue to grow so much in the area of, let's see, whatever I pick. I can grow in whatever area I pick. I'm growing right now in the area of relaxing and resting and just being. That's a hard thing for me. I have been just going and going and going and going and going. And now I'm learning how to not go, to just stay right where I'm at and be curious and be like a child. Okay. All right. So are you leaving? Okay, hold on just a sec. I'll be right back. Okay, the guys are just getting ready to go on a big ride, and Cammy and I are getting ready to go on a big hike. But before that, I am going to drop my cardboard cutouts of fear and connect with you and sing you a little song that I've been singing for almost 2 years, and I didn't know why. I was like, why am I so drawn to this song? And I kept trying to say, maybe this song is about me and this person. Maybe this song is about me and this person. And what I realized in the last few months is this song is about my human self and my soul self, and even my cardboard cutout selves. Because the first line of it says, you cut me down a tree and brought it back to me. And that's what made me see where I was going wrong. And that line moved me so much because sometimes we think we have to have something, and then when we cut it down and take it for ourselves, it dies. And that is such an analogy to so many things. And I'm not going to go any further with that because that's in my own life. Maybe it is in yours too. But I'm just going to sing this to you for a number of reasons. One is to connect and to show you who I actually am, and out of courage, because I come from a family of musicians, but I'm not a professional musician like they are. And in fact, I didn't even really start singing and stuff until the last 5 years or so, singing and playing instruments, but I love it. And then just to maybe give you the courage to do something hard. And what I want you to know is that I'm not a great singer. I'm not a great guitar player, but this is something that I started doing without really telling anybody or talking about it. It's just one of the things that I did that I was talking about before. Okay, I can hear the wind blowing, or I can feel the wind blowing, so I hope it's not blowing, but I'm just gonna do this. And I had to do old lady version, large print, because I can't see, so I'm gonna have to stop every once in a while and move my pages. But anyway, this is called Swallowed in the Sea. And this is another reason I love this song, is because I was having dreams, I don't know, it probably started 4 or 5 years ago, of getting sucked out to sea in a riptide, I think is what they're called. and just screaming for help and waving my arms and having everybody on the beach think I was out there swimming and having fun, when I was actually screaming for help. And I ended up in this recurring dream. I just ended up going further and further out to sea till I was out there all by myself and didn't know where I was going to go. And sometime I'll tell you about that whole dream and where it ended up, because it ended up in a good place and kind of where I am right now. But it was sure scary, and it sure I sure had some misconceptions in the dream and what I thought the dream meant. So, but I'll tell you about it sometime. But Swallowed in the Sea is what the song is called, and that's where I thought I was, swallowed in the sea. So here we go. Okay, I filmed my song and it didn't work out. So I went on a big long hike through the mountains and decided I would do it up here in this barn. That's gonna be my new magical creative space. I'm sitting about in the center of it, and so yeah, I can't wait to just share this process with you all. But for now, I'm gonna sing a song. I just got back from the most incredible hike. So incredible. I just can't believe how beautiful this world is. Okay, I just tuned my guitar too, because that was one of the things that was going wrong. I was trying to make this video for you guys this morning. It went out of tune for some reason. It was just awful. So anyway, here we go. Swallowed in the Sea. This is a song by Coldplay, who I love. Okay, here we go. The horses like it. Cut me down a tree and brought it back to me, and that's what made me see where I was going wrong. You put me on a shelf and kept me for yourself. I can only blame myself. You can only blame me. Have an audience. And I could write a song. Let's see. This is the chord I forgot. 100 miles long. Well, that's where I belong, and you belong with me. And I could write it down and spread it all around. Get lost and then get found. Or swallowed in the sea. just did my big brave thing to show you who I am these days. This is my human self, learning, growing, and becoming, and being like a child. And incredible things are happening in my body, in my heart, in my mind, in my thoughts, because I decided to drop those cardboard cutouts. And I'm dedicated to it. I know I'm gonna pick up old habits again, and I'll just remember again, just like I want you to do. So I don't know what your swallowed in the sea is, but you don't belong swallowed in the sea. You belong to your soul. Your soul belongs to you. This human experience that we get to be on is such an exciting adventure. I just feel like the luckiest girl in the world that I figured this out. And just enjoying the world would keep us busy the rest of our lives and keep us in a state of absolute joy and awe and wonder and healing. And so that's what I want for you. So I love you. I hope you'll think about all these things. Like I said, I'll be sharing some more stuff with you, and next week we'll talk about our soul self. I'm getting ready to go out to the campfire with our friends, and tomorrow heading to see some other friends and go on some different hikes and help some friends at their ranch to get it cleaned up and ready for the summer. And life is good. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I love you guys. Mwah. All right, so this is me. This is my human self. Next week I'm going to talk about my soul self. It's going to go back and forth between my soul self and my human self. I'm just super dedicated to living a life of curiosity, awe, joy, happiness, sadness when it comes, throw my fits for as long as I need to, cry it out, and then come back and play some more. Be curious, learn and grow and become and be free. And that's what I'm dedicated to, and I would love to see you do the same. So I hope you'll work through this, and next week we're going to talk about our soul selves, and then I'm going to walk you through some exercises that you can do in your art journals to seal this deal and start using this as a tool to gauge how all of life is going. And that's what I've been doing every day. I'm running everything through the filter of my 4 selves and choosing which one I'm going to listen to. Okay, I love you guys so much. This is just long, really long, and so I have so much more to say, but I'll say it in the future. You're going to be seeing a lot more videos from me about personal things, so we can actually connect on a human to human level, a soul to soul level, and just real connection without any cardboard or without any blinged out or spiked up cardboard and any bloody, gooey, oozy, broken self cardboard. No cardboard, just us, soul to soul, heart to heart, brain to brain, true connection. I love you guys so much, and I hope you're gonna go out and do something awesome today. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out in nature and just have an amazing day. I love you. Mwah.